AskReddit. What is the quickest way you've seen someone f their life up? This happened in a 2-week period. A friend of mine lost his kitchen job due to layoffs. Looked in the paper for a job he could get quick so he can make his bills, rent, etc. Finds a listing for a company looking for a driver delivery person ASAP. He has a car so he figures it would be a good quick fix. Calls and gets the job over the phone and is told he starts the next evening. Gets a company cell phone and does his first pickup. Turns out it's an escort agency and he's picking up and dropping off the talent. Does this for a few nights and starts getting to know the girls. Turns out they're all addicted to crack. Big surprise. They get the idea in his head that he's doing all the groundwork so he might as well post the ads himself and get his own phone and they'll work for him. So we're about a week into this adventure and he's gone from line cook to pimp. Fast forward a couple of days into pimping and he comes to the conclusion that all these girls spend their money on his crack, so why not cut out the middleman and start paying them in what they want? He doesn't know where to get crack but his kitchen buddies can hook him up with coke. Gets a bag of coke and googles how to make crack. Yes, really. Whips up a batch of kitchen crack and then is concerned that maybe he didn't make it correctly. So logically he should try it first before giving it to his lady's 36-hour crack binge later. He's hooked and proceeds to sell off everything including the car and phone in the next few days. I dropped by his place to hang out around day 10. I had no idea any of this was going on. He meets me at the door, explains what he's been up to for the past few days and says he doesn't want me there unless I'd like to pay and hook up with one of the crackheads in his living room. Strangely I declined. Last time I saw him he was cracked out yelling at people for change on a downtown street. 14 days and his entire life turned to garbage. Not me but a friend was an AP chem and they were working with some sodium something and his classmates snorted it as a cocaine joke. He was rushed to the ER and now his risk for nasal and lung cancer is through the roof. His predicted lifespan is like mid-30s maybe early 40s now and it was all for a shitty drug reference. Oh boy. Snorting random substances in chemistry class, major Darwin Awards contender. Always check the MSDS before snorting stuff in the chem lab. Basic lab safety. My mom's friend's foster daughter was about a month from graduating high school. She was a straight A student and she had a bright and promising future ahead of her. As far as anyone knew, she was a perfect good girl, but literally the day she turned 18, she disappeared. Her mom thought the worst, like she'd been kidnapped or killed. She didn't hear from her at all for about 2 weeks. The cops were looking for her but turning up nothing. Then one day she walks in the front door like nothing happened. As it turns out, on her 18th birthday and the subsequent couple weeks, she dropped out of school. Got a really ugly tattoo that covers a large portion of the side of her torso. Moved in a house with a couple guys, which it was later found out that they were having gangbangs with her every day. Blew a bunch of money on drugs. Then, when her mother yelled at her for making her worry and for doing so much retarded shit, she freaked out on her mom and left again that same day, disappearing for another several weeks. She came back to collect some of her things and decided she was moving across the country to live with her crackhead real mother that she was taken away from as a baby and never had anything to do with for her entire life. Today, roughly 5 years later, she has 2 babies from different dads, never went to college and works at Walmart. She could have done anything she wanted, but she decided to frick up everything and go partying instead of just staying in school one more month. Watched a drunk college guy, this is back when I was in high school, say hey kid, wanna see something cool, grabbed a pipe and smashed the back of a police officer's head in. We helped the officer's partner tackle the guy. Dude got prison for assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder, as well as assaulting an officer. Shit went from let's go home to life is fricked real quick. Friend from high school bought a really nice camera at a suspiciously low price. A few weeks later, the police pick him up and ask him to answer a few questions at the station. The cop makes a stop on the way, leaving the squad car running while he runs inside on his stop. My friend panics, hops in the driver's seat and drives the squad car to North Dakota. That was summer after senior year of high school and he was headed to a great school on full scholarship. That was 21 years ago and no one knows where he is now. Some say he is still driving that cop car today. Friend of my mother back in high school went out drinking with a few friends and decided to do a little red light street racing in his Mustang GT. He lost control and rear-ended a vehicle, killing the driver. Turns out that the driver of the vehicle he hit was his own mother. Killed his mother and served time for manslaughter. Unfortunate. I used to work at a little diner in Constance Bay, Ontario. I imagine I could find an article about this. Didn't happen to me, but to a customer. I would estimate that it was about 10 years ago now. The customer, female, and her boyfriend were out drinking at the local watering hole. There was that bar in the Legion in the little town. Anyway, her and her boyfriend had driven to the bar, and when they left, they did the smart thing and left their car at the bar and decided to walk home. Constance Bay is quite small. Basically it's a main road that loops around the whole town and all side roads branch off of that. The main road has a really sharp turn at one spot. So, her and her boyfriend are walking on the side of the road. No sidewalk since it's a little town. Everyone literally knows everyone as they're walking. A guy hits them. The driver was wasted drunk. He had been cut off at the Legion a while before the incident. Her and her boyfriend were hit so hard, they were thrown into the ditch. Her boyfriend was killed instantly and she was severely hurt. She laid in the ditch for a few hours, unable to move until someone driving by noticed a hand sticking up. 911 was called. She had a couple of surgeries after. If I recall, they had to put a metal rod in her leg. So, after drunk idiot hits them, he keeps driving and takes the sharp curve I mentioned too fast and ends up hitting the garage of a house on the corner. This wakes up the owners of the house, who didn't think too much of it, as apparently this was a common occurrence. Thing is, the owners of the house were the parents of the girl who had just gotten hit. I remember hearing how shook up and guilty they felt when they found out what happened. So, drunk guy was caught and charged, obviously. I guess he was known in the area. His stupid decision not only ruined his life, but the lives of the girl, her boyfriend and their friends and family. It was pretty sad. She would come into the diner for breakfast and I remember seeing the massive brace she had on her leg. Frick drunk drivers. Back a few years ago, this dipshit I know gave up a good home, a steady job, and some of his closest friendships all to go move to another state with a girl he had known for all of 2 months. She left him a month and a half later or so, and after he went crying home to his parents he had trouble getting a good job and was hospitalized for a bit for trying to kill himself. Man was I a dumbus back then. Luckily it all worked out in the end and I'm quite happy now. What a twist. This kid I know, his cousin gave him a gun over the holidays as a present. So this dumbus ordered pizza with his friends and instead of paying they robbed the delivery guy. Again this is after they gave the address and name for the order. So now because he just turned 18 he's being tried as an adult and faces like 10 years or more for being stupid. Reminds me of the guy that burned down the pawn shop near here. Guy worked there, stole $150 from the register, and then started a fire to burn the video recorder, which obviously burned the whole place down. Caused IDK $100,000 plus worth of damages and got him on felony arson. So looking at like 10 years for $150. Also, one time someone ripped out the parking meters in town, caused $35,000 worth of damage and made off with $27 worth of change. Did I mention my town has a opioid drug problem? Edit. For everyone asking, I live in Western Pennsylvania. Not me but my dad. When he was at college one of his friends snapped after an argument with his mother and slit her throat, as well as killing his 2 little cousins who his mum was babysitting. This was 38 years ago, and he's still in prison. Edit. Sorry there has been a few comments confused about the wording. My dad's friend killed his own mother and 2 cousins. He did not kill anyone in my family. Very weird one here. Without going into too much detail, this was a single dad who ran a youth club. The other staff tried to hush this up but his kids were integrated into the main social group here so it got out pretty quickly. He was fairly religious, adamant that his 15-year-old daughter was not to have a boyfriend. Never let her have boys over. even as friends. She of course had a boyfriend who came over during the gap between end of school and when he got home from work. He suspected it, but couldn't prove it, so he installed a webcam in her bedroom. Of course, he caught her having sex with this guy on film, downloaded it to his computer to show to his daughter as proof, so he could discipline her. She obviously immediately freaks out, calls her mum, who calls the police. Social workers arrive. Guy get done for child pornography, currently going through the court system. Has been forced to leave the youth club and hasn't seen his kids for almost a year. The brother revealed all of this to one of his friends. You know how kids are. Word spread. Poor guy was always very odd. I would say on the spectrum definitely. I genuinely believe he didn't realize what he had done. He just viewed it as parenting. Lost his kids, his job, his social life through the staff at the youth club, the respect of the community, and probably his freedom all in one stupid mistake. Thanks for watching, Sister Fisters. Remember to dab on that like button and subscribe for more content. Check out some of these other dank videos.